If you compared our standards, what we encourage parents to do for their children for high school math and science, our standards are higher than any state in the nation. And so I'm kind of looking at, on the outside, looking in at what's going on here, and I just want to help y'all think about some things. And I mean, today I see outside there's dinosaur costume parties going on, and you know, there's no real discussion of 21st century science. What's missing from the books, and one example is epigenetics. That's some new 21st century science. I don't know if y'all can see this. It says why your DNA is not your destiny. That's cover of Time magazine, 2010, is what this is. And you know, normally we think of, you know, well, you get 23 chromosomes from mom, 23 from dad. That's what makes you physically who you are, is the DNA and the genes that are on that chromosome, on those chromosomes. So this is saying that's not your destiny, though. So what are they talking about? Well, they're talking about epigenetics. And now epigenetics, I mean, it's like, well, if you don't talk about that, you might as well not talk about genetics either. And that's not in the textbooks. And I've given y'all some things to encourage y'all to go look in the index, see if those things are in there. I gave you a book. It's signed by the author of this Mysterious Epigenome book. Y'all take a look at that too, and learn some more, ask questions too. When is the next biology standards revision? Do y'all know when that would be, the next time that's?
Oh my, 3 or 4 years.
Okay. Can I finish just that comment? Well, I was just going to say that you know, I'm teaching this stuff in my curriculum. I don't get paid if I don't keep up with the new science and everything through my company. So we're already at least 2 years ahead of what Texas textbooks have. If this doesn't get in now, then it's, what, 5, 10 years? I mean, it's going to be even farther behind. And
well, Dr. Shorman, I have a question. I remember 2 years ago with the supplemental materials, I remember one of the books, specifically one of the major publishers, covering epigenetics. But I haven't seen it in the current books either, but I thought maybe I just missed it.
Well, I did some of the online review in 2011. I was able to get some things in that are related to epigenetics. Stuff about the proteome, the interactome, and those are some of the other things I encourage y'all to look up in the index of some of these books and see if they're in there or not. So I actually, on that review, the way that was set up, I had a review team, and I had to go against my other 2 people to reject the TEAC that didn't have good information on 21st century cell complexity. And I've got a copy of what that looks like from that publisher. They did a great job on it. It says, reading 21st century approaches to understanding cell complexity.
Wait, what is that?
This is something that I was able to get
in the supplements.
In the supplement.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, but after the other folks on my review team saw that, they were like, "Oh yeah, that is some good stuff that we should get in." But anyway, yeah, I encourage you to just look for yourself at those textbooks, and it's a pretty simple thing. Just look up in the index some of those things. Earth Sciences, look up supercritical fluids. That is a new thing too. It's like a 4th phase. You get solid, liquid, gas, supercritical phase that has implications for everything from earthquakes to oil and gas exploration. And anyway.
Thank you. Any questions? Ms. Hardy?
This is a question of you, Madam Chair. Is epigenetics not in our TEACs?
Well, he referenced in TEACs 4 through 7, 6B, 7F, and 7G. Is that what you're referencing?
Right. I mean, it has to do with understanding the way cells work.
Right.
What we understand. I mean, some part of that is called gene expression, but it also has to do with inheritance, a mechanism for inheritance of what makes you your physical traits.
Gene expression is the term I'm working with. So thank you for
Right.
saying
But yeah, everybody calls it epigenetics. Here's this is 2012 Biological Sciences magazine from the University of Texas. there's an article right there, epigenetic landscape. I mean, they know about it, they're talking about it. So I'm talking about it, teaching my students that, and I mean, it's a really big deal, so.
Ms. Miller?
Madam Chair, he's saying it's not in
Right.
the books,
It's not in the books,
but
but
he's.
the proposed textbooks right now.
They're not
Right.
Right, and I'd encourage you to reject them unless they
in, unless they
put a
add.
definition in, explain it a little bit.
Well, we're hoping the publishers are listening right now to all of the reviewers and some of a lot of this conversation. Ms. Hardy?
That's my confusion. If it's not in the text, why is it that we're holding the publishers to something that's not in the standards? Because they base their books on the standards, I would
Well,
think.
I believe what you said, what is in the text?
It is
Gene
in the
expression.
text.
which is
It's new 21st century science that helps explain all of these things and helps a student analyze and evaluate pretty much anything that has to do with a cell. So if you're not explaining, oh, well, you know, this is this other set of information, the epigenome, and what it does, and oh, and this is how it works, and things related to T4, T5, T6, T7. You're behind is basically, you're behind the curve. So,
Any other questions? Mr. Rattler?
Yeah, I just want to point, I mean, science is always changing, always moving forward, and I think the challenge is at some point the publishers have to go to print. And so I would also remind us that the textbook is not the only tool in the classroom, so if it's not in the book, we're teaching 10-year-old science books right now, so I don't want you to assume that if it's not in the book, it's not being taught in the class. I think teachers with professional development or other resources will continue to stay up with science after these books go to print for the next decade.
well, yeah, I mean, that's possible, but I would encourage you not to not put it in because of that. When you get, something happens at a school and the high school football coach who's got a kinesiology degree or PE degree has to go teach biology, all he has is the book.
And I admit it's not an ideal situation, but at some
Yeah.
point you got to say, okay, press the print button. And so it's, I mean, if
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
this issue today, it could be something else 30 days from now.
Well, I'm saying that this is something you want to hold off on the print button until it gets in there.
So thank you.
I do see in 6D gene expression, but remember, publishers only have to cover 50% of the text now, unfortunately, so. Thank you so much for bringing that to our
Okay,
attention.
thank you all for letting me